In this sponsored tutorial, we're going to check out the Neve Free and Neve Pro theme and all the stuff you can do with it. It's a powerful theme, it's fast, it's well coded. I put it right up there with Astra and Ocean WP. So if you like either of those themes, don't sleep on Neve because it's a great theme. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I try to answer them the best I can. My name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab, where we help you get better at WordPress so you can earn more for yourself, for your customers, and for your business. If you've not done so yet, make sure to click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And now let's get started on this one. The Neve theme is created by ThemeMile. They've been building plugins and themes since 2012, and Neve is one of their best products. It's one of the fastest. It's mobile first. It has starter sites for various different page builders. And there's a lot of key features in here that I'm going to show you in this video that make the Neve theme a very good choice for most websites that you want to build. And I've linked to this page in the description down below if you want to read through the feature plan. There's a free version and a paid version of the Neve theme. We're going to go through both of them in this video so you can see what the free theme delivers. Then we'll look at the pro theme to see what it upgrades. So first, let's install the free theme and let's see what it does. Let's go over to our dashboard and let's go to Appearance and then Themes. Then click on Add New and search for Neve or Neve, depending on how you pronounce it. I pronounce it Neve. This is it right here. Click on Install. If you've not backed up your site yet, make sure you back up your site first before you install something new on a live site. Just in case something goes wrong, you can revert back to your backup. I linked to the tutorial in the card up above and the description down below to help you with that if you need help. Click on Activate to activate the theme, and now it's our live theme. If I go and look at the front end of our website, we just have some blog posts. So here's the blog. It's pretty standard, but it's nice and clean. Even right out of the box, it's not a bad looking blog as it is, but we can do a whole lot better with just a few clicks by installing a starter site. To do that, we go back into our dashboard. We click on try one of our ready to use starter sites. And it says here in order to import any starter sites, you have to have the Cloud Templates and Patterns Collection plugin active. So let's install and activate that by clicking that button. So here are our starter sites. We have various categories: Gutenberg, Elementor, Brizy, Beaver Builder, Divi, and Thrive Architect. And the number after them is how many templates, how many starter sites are available for that specific page builder. And there is some overlap, as in the designs can be the same. So for Gutenberg, we have 52. Click on Elementor. We have this web agency one, the original, and Pet Shop. I think Pet Shop is in Gutenberg somewhere as well. But we have designs that are similar, so you can have the design you want in the page builder you want. We go to Brizy, we see the original right here. Not all of them are overlapped, not all of the different styles are available in every page builder type, but a lot of them are. We see the web agency one again here, original again on for Beaver Builder. You get the idea. And there are some premium starter sites as well. If we scroll down, we'll see a little premium button with a lock. These are unlocked when you have Neve Pro. We'll talk about that a little later on, because first we're doing the free theme. And I'm going to install for Elementor, because that's a pretty popular page builder right now. I'm going to install this web agency template. First, I'll click preview so we can see how it looks. What I like about the Neve templates is they're not over designed. They are just perfect for businesses, for a plumber, for a mechanic, for the type of clients most of you guys have and who you build websites for. That they don't have a bunch of flashy stuff going on. They're just to the point. Here's what we do. Here's some buttons. You can hire us or get here are the 3 most important points you have to know. Here's a bit about us. And that's all we need. We don't need to have flashy animations all over the place, even though those are nice. You don't really need them for a lot of your client sites. So Neve provides a lot of themes that are not over designed. They're just perfect for client needs. And down at the bottom here, we can click a forward arrow and go to the next template if we want to. This is the original. We saw that in our list as well. I'm going to go back to the one we had, this one right here, the agency, and click on Import in the bottom right. Now it's going to show some options. We can choose to import various things. We can choose to import content or not, customizer settings or not, widgets or not. I'm going to keep all these active. It's going to install the Elementor Page Builder, the free version, and Orbit Fox, which is an add-on that provides a lot of functionality for Gutenberg and Elementor, also created by ThemeMile. So I'm not going to change anything here and just click on Import and let it do its thing. I'm going to click on View Website so we can see how our website looks live. And here it is. This is exactly what we saw in the preview. And this is using Elementor, like we also saw. But we can use the same template in the various other page builders, the ones that had this template available. So there's ultimate flexibility for what you want to do and for what your current technology stack is. And you notice that our blog posts are gone. Our blog posts used to be the home page, But when the starter site was installed, it switched it to a different page called News. Not called Blog, which a lot of sites call it, but it's called News. If I click on there, it shows our blog post. This is our nice little blog post design. This is all in the starter site. Like, a lot of these starter sites are fantastic just how they are. You don't have to change a whole lot of stuff, even though I'll show you how to change all of it. We have a portfolio page where we have some portfolio type information, nicely laid out. So if we want to edit this specific page right here, we go to edit with Elementor. And then we'll be able to edit most components, not the header and the footer, because those are created inside of the customizer, but everything we can edit with Elementor, we can just click in here and edit with Elementor. I'm not going to get into editing with Elementor because you probably know how to do that already, but all these elements are created in Elementor, and that's fantastic. And that is true for all of the pages. So let's exit to the dashboard again. Let's go back out to the site. So all of the pages that are imported, like the home page, About Us, Portfolio, Contact, and the News page is not an Elementor page. You notice it says Edit with Elementor up here. That exists for all the pages that are built with Elementor. If I go to the News page, this one's not Edit with Elementor. Everything you see here is done inside the customizer with the Neve theme. So let's hop into there because you'll see a lot of cool settings, cool things we can do in there. I'm going to click on Customize as a shortcut. You can also get there through the WordPress dashboard if you go to Appearance and then Customize. And in here, it takes us right to the page that we're on the front end, and we can customize things directly right here, or we can click on the navigation and go to the home, and this takes us to the home page. A lot of the things we can customize inside the editor. Also, just like Elementor or other page builders, when you hover over them, have little boxes and things and pencils showing you can interact with them. So we can edit the header area, and at the bottom, we have our footer area, which we can edit. And for this page, everything in between is Elementor. So let's start with our header. And the header is actually quite complex with the Neve theme. We can have 3 different rows of content. We have a top row, which you see here, a middle row, and a bottom row. So at the very top, we could add, say on the right-hand side, it's broken up into columns. Let's go to the right-hand side, click on the plus. Let's add a, HTML. And in the HTML, let's move it right to here. In the HTML, we are going to add a phone number. Missed a number. No, I didn't. 0. So we have now a phone number at the top. We have a top bar to our header now, which is pretty sweet. You want this piece to be wider, so you have more content there. It needs to be wider. You just drag and drop it and extend it to whatever width you want. For the primary menu, I want to shrink the menu part, move it over, and add a search icon. So someone can click on it and then be able to search. There's our search bar that appears when I click on it. You can also have a search bar that's present right there, or a search form. Click on that, and we have a search form. It's quite small, so we have to move our menu over a little bit further, make more space for our search bar. There we go. That's pretty nice. But I prefer the icon because I like that full screen pop in for the search. And after the search, let's put a little cart icon in there. So let's move this and add a cart icon. Because the Neve theme deeply integrates with WooCommerce. So we have a cart icon. People add stuff to their cart. It will increment this number up. You hover over it, it will show the products they have in their cart, which is pretty slick. And if you have favorites enabled or wish list enabled in WooCommerce, you can actually have a wish list icon up here as well, a little heart. So it shows their wish list when they're logged into your site. And we also have the header bottom. I'm not sure in this example what I put in there, but I'm going to show you something. Let's put a button in there, call it Request a Quote or something. So we see this big button right here. And that's our 3 levels of the header. So you have flexibility to create anything you want. There's sites where the 3-level header is required. There's sites where it's nice to have but not needed. There's other sites where it's too much. So it really depends on what kind of site you're building, but you have the flexibility to create any kind of header you want with those 3 levels. You probably saw these 3 dots. You're probably wondering what those are. Those are dynamic tags that the Neve theme offers you. So if I click on these, it has dynamic URLs that we can pull in. This one here has dynamic content you can pull in from throughout the site, including from WooCommerce. And I'm not sure if it does the ACF fields. I don't have ACF installed, but it might possibly take in or bring in ACF field data as well. If we go to layout, we can change our button alignment. Right now it's left aligned, but it's in the center, which seems awkward. But that's just how it is because that's where we have it set on the bottom menu area. If I hover over it, we can see the button is allowed to take up half of the area. If I extend the button all the way across, it now takes up the full area. And now left will be aligned left, and then center, and all the rest. You get the idea. Change the padding and margin. Styles, we can change the button styles and colors and hover effects and all that stuff right in here. Point and click, super simple to match everything up to your styling. And we can also switch to the mobile options for the mobile menu. You'll notice we don't have the same options automatically filled in. For example, we have an HTML area for the phone number. We have a button on the bottom. We have a search bar and a cart. Those don't automatically port over to the mobile because mobile is usually less stuff. But you can add them back in. I click on the plus icon here. I can add in the same options. We can have a 3-layered menu on mobile as well if you want to do that. Generally, it's not what you do, but you have that option. The menu icon, when you click on it, it is set to pull in the menu that you have set up on the left-hand side over here. Right now, it just pulls in the primary menu, which is the same as the main menu. But we can have a different menu. I could choose right here, secondary menu, and then select menu. And then under secondary, choose the other menu on the site, and it pulls in the secondary menu, which is right here. Just has the word glossary, but now we have 2 different menus being pulled in here, if that's something you want to do. That might not be what you want to do. So you go back into mobile settings, delete secondary menu. Maybe you want to have a button right on the mobile menu. So let's add a button. And then we have the button on the mobile menu, and that's pretty slick. So for the other options we have, let's check out layout. Let's go back to our desktop version. Let's go to layout. And this is where we can set various things for the entirety of the website. Let's navigate back to our home page. For our container, we can choose the width of the website. And so as I move this slider around, we see the content width changing, but the Elementor content does not change. Now, if I go to the blog, for example, which is not created with Elementor, we see the width changing as we change with the slider here. So be aware of that. If you're using not just Elementor, any page builder, if you're using Gutenberg, then all the adjustments here will change the Gutenberg starter site design, but any page builder design will not be affected by things like this container size. Although you can change those individually inside of the page builder to make it match. You can change these for the different device types. You can have different styles of container. These are all the various options you have for page builder. So you're probably familiar with how these work. Contained means it's just a certain area, and the width of that area we define up here, and full width just goes to the full width, whatever the screen width happens to be. And that's the container. We can also have our content and our sidebar adjusted. We don't currently have a sidebar, as you can see, but we can add one in. Let's click on this. That adds a sidebar to our blog on the left side. You can see it's quite squished. And that's because of the content width. Right now it's at 100%, so the sidebar only has this little amount of space here. So let's reduce the content width. Now we have more space for our sidebar. Let's in fact make a little more space here so it's not squished right to the edge of the panel so we can see it better. Now we have our sidebar. Sidebar on the right, flip over to the right by clicking that button. And this is one of the areas where when you have the premium Neve theme, you have a lot more options for the blog settings and the sidebar settings. You can have different layouts for single posts. So if I were to click into this post to view it, you can have the sidebar switch sides if you want, or you can have the sidebar gone in the post itself. Normally the way we saw it earlier is the way it is, meaning on the post itself we have the sidebar, but on the post list, on the archive list, we don't have a sidebar. Quite often, not always, but that's often how it is. So we turn it off here so we can see our posts in all their glory. Then we turn it on for the single posts. And then we also have sidebar options for the shop and the archive for WooCommerce, for the single product, and for anything else that doesn't fall into those categories. Let's go back and check out the blog archive, which is this page right here. We currently have it set to have the images and content alternate sides. We can have them all aligned to the left. Just a click of a button. We can have them aligned in a grid. Click on the grid, change the number of columns to, let's say, 3. We only have 3 posts on the site right now, but there's our 3 right there. We can enable masonry. So if I change this to 2, you'll see what I mean. So when I have it at 2, we've seen this one on the left that the image is a little bit shorter, not as tall as the one on the right. So there's a little more space, but the space they take up is still equal. And that's a uniform grid. We can also enable masonry, When I do, you'll see this option, this post shifted up slightly. So enable masonry, and that one shifts up a little bit because this area that this takes up is a little smaller. So it's kind of the Pinterest style. We have different sizes of elements and it kind of just fits them in wherever the space is available. Whereas the regular one where masonry is not enabled, it just gives every row equal height and does not change the height of the elements. We can change the excerpt length really easily by clicking and dragging. If we had more posts, we'd see a number for pagination. You can have a number or infinite scroll, which means the post will start appearing as you scroll down or as the visitor scrolls down. We can change the stuff that appears in the post. We can turn the thumbnails off if we want, or we could have the title appear before the thumbnail. Just click and drag. And now the title is on top. So that's pretty neat. Have a thumbnail shadow if you want. A little more dynamic, a little more engaging, I think. Looks like the picture jumps off the page. You can turn off metadata and change the order if you want, the metadata being this right here. Author name, date, comments, trackbacks, categories, things like that. And turn on the author avatar if we have an avatar. In this case we do, so we'll turn that one on. And those are our blog options in the free version. Also single post options. If I click into this post right here, we can rearrange the content by clicking and dragging. So if I want, again, the thumbnail over the title, I just click and drag and move them around. Now our thumbnail is first. You get the idea. Just click and drag and you have content where you want it. So that's the layout, and we did the header. Now let's check out the footer. The footer is at the bottom of the page, believe it or not. And this is it right here. It's pretty simple by default, but you can make it more complicated. We have the ability to add 2 levels of footer. We have the copyright. We see a preset down here. If we click on there, we can edit the copyright right there. We can also add dynamic tags, as we can see with this button here. We also change the layout and the style, options we saw before already. And we can add another row. So maybe we want to have another row of links. Let's have a footer menu. I don't have one set up on this site, so we'll just use this crazy menu right here for now. Let's just make this full width and center it. And the kind of menu I recommend you have here is something like privacy, about us, contact, terms of use, disclaimer, things like that, not just random pages like I have. But here you see you can add a menu down there, a second menu, or other content. You can add whatever is available in this list. You can also add footer widget areas. So let's click on the plus icon. Let's add footer 1. This is a widget area. You can add footer 2. Let's just have 2. Let's make them half and half. It's pretty close, I think. Maybe like this. And we can add widgets by clicking on the footer we want to add widgets to. Click on add a widget, and all the widgets that you have available on your site, you can add into these footer areas. So let's just add the cart in this one. And on footer 2, let's add categories, for example. And there we have some footer widgets created. Let's back out of here. Colors and background. This is where we select colors and black background for the entire site. Our link color is currently set to black. We can see the links are black over here. When I hover over, they're lighter gray. You can change those colors here. You can add a background image. This background image will be on your entire site. So make sure it is an image that is not like one of these where it just has this crazy GeoCities style pattern and it's just not appealing. So if you choose a background image, make sure it works. And you're able to see if it works as you do the editing here because it updates live. And as you're working through any changes, also make sure you click publish, because if you don't, your changes will not be saved. Quite often when you come back into the customizer, if you didn't save a previous change you made, it'll ask you if you want to restore. So you can go ahead and restore it, but it's better just to click save. Typography, general, we can change all the fonts on the site super easily. And again, these affect only pages that are not built in a page builder. So since we're using the Elementor starter site, these changes to font will not affect the Elementor pages. I have to go and change those in Elementor. So we can change this to Bookman. We see Bookman, Bookman, Bookman. For the body text, we can change all the sizes and the weight and the spacing and do that device specifically for font size and line height right here. The headings we can also change. Let's make them Comic Sans just for something different. We can change This would be the default for all of them. Then we can change the attributes, the sizes and things for the different headings by going into each heading option and changing the options that we have there. For the blog, we can change typography specific to single post, which is what we're currently on right now. So we change things site-wide earlier. So if you are using a starter site from, say, Gutenberg, or just building one with Gutenberg, those site-wide changes will apply to every page. And then we can specifically have changes just applied to our posts under single, and the blog archive under these options here. If I click on news, that takes us to the blog archive. We can change those items here. And I'm going to change these back to Poppins because I like that much better. I'm actually annoyed by Bookman and Comic Sans. And those are Google fonts. Let's remove that search. So we have system fonts and we have Google fonts. Google fonts are included in the website, so you don't have to have a visitor that has these fonts installed. They're included through the Google APIs and things right into the website. Normally, to be safe, you do want to use only system fonts because those fonts are available across all computers. But with the Google fonts, you're safe to use them in here as well. And you can also, with the Pro version, use Typekit, which is the Adobe fonts. So that's typography. And through buttons, we can change button styling. We can change our button style from filled to outlined. We can change our colors. Right now they're orange. When I hover over, it's blue. You can change those colors here. Change the border radius, all the regular options you'd have in, say, Elementor. Those are for primary buttons, and secondary buttons also have the same options as well. The last thing that Neve adds in the free version is the WooCommerce options. The ones you see right here, the menu, widgets, homepage settings, additional CSS, and header footer scripts, those are WordPress specific. So any theme inside the customizer will have these options enabled. Inside WooCommerce, we can change these 5 things and options within them with the free version. First, I want to add a new menu item up here to our menu so I can actually show you these options. So let's click on the pencil for the menu, choose primary menu, I'm going to choose edit menu. I'm just going to add an item. I'm going to add the shop page. I should have it on here because I have WooCommerce installed. A lot of pages. Shop. Add that in, and let's go back there to the shop page. Okay, so now if I click on shop, it should take us to a page that shows our shop. And there it is. We have these 3 items in our WooCommerce, these 3 products. If I go to WooCommerce and choose store notice, we can add this in. This goes site-wide, so it's not just WooCommerce page specific, but if I enable this message, it'll say whatever this text is here. Normally what you put in here is a promotion for a sale, or maybe certain inventory sold out, or maybe you're on vacation, the store is temporarily closed, or something. That's a site-wide message for your shop. Head back over here, go to product catalog. We can choose what's shown on the store page. We can show just products, we can show categories, or products and categories. See if we have any categories created. We do. We have the string instruments category. There is no image. This would be something I want to fix before I publish this site because I want to have an image for categories. We can show products and categories if we want. So we choose that option there. The category display, when you're inside of a category, you can choose these options. The default product sorting, we can choose these options. Number of products per row, we can increase or decrease that. So I put this to 2. We now will have 2 rows of products. Images are much bigger. It'll depend on what type of merchandise you're selling, whether you want bigger images or not. And rows per page, right now it's set to 4. Let's just set this to 2 and this to 1. We can see our pagination in action. We see our page numbers right here. Go to the next page, it shows the next page's content. Let's change this back to what it was. Let's go back to our shop page, and there we are, our product catalog. Our product images, we can mess around with those too. We have product images that you see are different sizes. The violin is much smaller than the cello and the guitar. We could change this to be 1:1, for example, but then we get them cut off. They're all the same size, but now they're cut off. We can also have this be custom. So it changes the aspect ratio depending on what these options are in here, or uncropped, which has their full size. And then we also have options for our checkout. These options allow us to define how the checkout page appears. So this is the default appearance when we have Neve theme installed. We can make specific fields optional. We can set our links to our privacy policy page and our terms and conditions page with these two drop downs. Privacy policy was auto-selected because that page exists. Terms and conditions does not have a page yet on our site, so that link is not set and does not appear here. If I were to just choose a random page, it's not the correct page for this option, but once I choose a page, the link appears right here. We have to check a box before we can place our order. Here we have this message that displays this message right here. You can change that text as you need, and you can change the terms and conditions text right here as well. And the paid version of Neve adds a whole lot more options for your checkout. In fact, for all the WooCommerce sections. We also have single product options. These options are quite slim for the free version, but the paid version extends those as well. And if I go to the front end, I just want to show you how this cart option works here. If I go to the shop, and let's just add one of these to our cart. Add that to our cart. It's in our cart. That's great. We now have a little 1 here instead of a 0. If I hover over it, it shows the item that's in our cart. View the cart. We have a nicely laid out cart. This is mostly WooCommerce, but with some design enhancements from Neve. Proceed to checkout, and we see our checkout page that we customized just a minute ago. Now I'm going to install the Pro add-on for Neve, and we're going to see what that does. Just to give you a bit of a preview, if you go back to our theme aisle page here, go to See Plans, we see the different plans that we have here. There's annual and lifetime options, and these prices you see here are for unlimited websites. All of them are. So $59 right here is for unlimited websites. So is the $99, so is the $159. And the difference between these is the boosters you get, meaning the extra options you get, and the level of support you get, and also white labeling. So for the personal, we get the header and blog booster, we get the Elementor booster, and we get custom layouts. And then for the next one up, we get the addition of premium starter sites, WooCommerce booster, and priority support. And then for the next one up, we get white labeling and live chat support. So those are the different options you have for the Pro. And when you buy one of these, this is per year. So it'd be $59 per year for unlimited sites. If you don't renew it, you still have the theme that your site doesn't shut down. It still runs. You just don't get continued support, and you don't get updates if you don't pay the yearly amount. So let's go back into our site, add the Pro version of Neve so we can see what kind of power that adds to our theme. Like a lot of themes you're doing nowadays, the Pro version of Neve is a plugin that adds the Pro functionality. So let's go to plugins and then add new and go to upload plugin, choose file, find the Pro plugin, click on install now, and then click on activate. And now the Neve Pro options are installed. The add-on I have is auto-activated. If you need to find your license, just log into your Neve account where you bought the plugin, and it will be in there on the licenses page. And right away, what we have is under Appearance and Neve Options, and go to Neve Pro, we have these options auto-enabled. The Header Booster, the WooCommerce Booster, the Blog Booster, scroll to top, White Label, Custom Layouts, Elementor Booster, and the Typekit fonts. The Lifter LMS Booster requires Lifter LMS be installed. We'll get to that in a little bit. And the Type Fonts requires that you have a Type Font account, which I currently don't. But basically what it is just more fonts. The Adobe fonts can be included on your website using the Typekit fonts. Any of these boosters you're not using, I recommend you turn them off, because that will ensure that content and resources from those boosters are not being loaded on pages and not being used, which will slow your site down. So any one of these you're not going to use, turn them off. First, let's check out the header booster. Let's go back into our customizer. Let's click on publish. And then we're going to reload this page. Let's go right back to the very front and reload to make sure we have all our new content and new boosters loading into our customizer. And now if I go to header, we have more options. We didn't have global header options earlier. We also didn't have header presets. So for the header presets, let's go into the global header options. Here we can enable transparent header, which means our header will become transparent. It had a white background a moment ago, and now it's transparent. You can have this only on the home page, or you can have it site-wide, and you can also have different headers on different pages. So here is an option to enable show this header site-wide. If we turn that off, we can now create new headers and have them display on specific pages, post taxonomy, post types, based on conditions and rules. So you could have a separate header that appears only on your shop pages, for example. You could have one header for the rest of your site and then a different header for your WooCommerce shop pages. You could have a different header just for the cart page without links on it to make a distraction-free checkout. You don't want people clicking links and going back off the shopping cart, so having a different header for that might be a good idea. I'm going to turn these off for now. And you see the spacing here is not quite right for our transparent header, so you have to adjust the padding and things. I'm going to disable transparent header, and those are our global header settings. We also have the ability to add more widgets into our menus. We have some new ones, including breadcrumbs, contact, my account, wish list, which we spoke about earlier, which you can now add into the header of your website. And for the primary menu, it's clearly not the primary menu, so I'm going to set that back to the web agency primary. There we go, click on publish. And I'm just going to add the wish list icon up here beside our cart. So let's shrink this down one notch, move search over, move cart over, add wish list. Here it says to activate your wish list, go to customize your WooCommerce product catalog, product card, wish list. So let's do that really quick before we carry on, because I don't want that text up there the whole time. WooCommerce, product catalog, product card, and wish list right here. So this allows people to choose wish list or wish list products. Add that little heart right there. So if someone clicks on that heart, it will now add that product to our wish list. And to access or view your entire wish list, you click on this heart up here. Pretty snazzy stuff. And that is actually an add-on that is paid for in WooCommerce. So if we look up really quick WooCommerce favorites, WooCommerce wish lists, you can get this add-on for WooCommerce. So you don't need the Neve theme to do this, but it costs $79 a year. That is more than the price of the Neve theme for a year. And this adds one feature that the Neve theme has. The Neve theme has many, many more than one for less than that. Let's go back out of here. Let's go back to our header options and check out the header presets. These allow us to choose preset header designs. So if I were to click on this one, it will undo all the work we've done so far. And now that is our header up here. I'm going to refresh without saving it to get our header back. The one we have with our wish list and cart. I don't want to redo all that work. There we go. There's our header back. I'm just going to publish this to make sure we save it. Another interesting option you have when you have the Neve Pro add-ons, you can show different layers of your header or not show them depending whether you're scrolling or not. So let's click on this little gear icon beside the third layer where we have the request a quote button. We can choose to show it only on scroll. We also have to have it stick to the top, and we then publish this. Then we go to the front end of the website and refresh. We can see how it works. We can also see in the preview of the customizer how it works, but this is the actual front end website. And we can see when we scroll, request a quote comes down, replaces the main menu. And you can choose those options for each of the layers of the header, which is pretty slick. With the header options, you can also do more things in the footer. We have those options now as well, stick to bottom. So this will make it so the footer is always present on the bottom of the page. If I publish this and refresh it out here, we have our footer right here. We haven't customized it much, but we have our footer widgets, and there's our footer stuck right to the bottom of the page. If we want to do that, we can enable that with the footer options. I want to undo that. It's not very common that you'd be doing that kind of thing, but it is an option now in Neve Pro. And we also have a page header option. This is available for whatever archives you choose: pages, posts, media, custom layouts, my templates, products, quizzes, and surveys. These will change depending on what plugins you have on your site. Products is WooCommerce specific. Quizzes and surveys is a quiz plugin specific option. And then if I go to news, which is the only non-Elementor page that we have, actually shop is on Elementor as well. The other pages are all Elementor made, and so what we change here would not apply to those. But for all non-Elementor pages, we can now add things. Like let's, for example, add a button. Just going to call it a button. Just going to leave it as is. Here's our button right there. And that is now added to whatever pages we define or whatever archives we define in this list right here. And you can add HTML elements, which means you could add banner ads or other code. You have different menus available, and that would appear on the top of whatever pages you define, which is pretty slick. And then next we have our blog booster. We'll check out the WooCommerce booster at the end. Next up we have blog booster, and this allows us to add some more functionality to the blog. I'm just going to get rid of this before we go there. And so on the blog page here, if we go to layout, we have many of the same options here as well. Scroll to top is new. We'll check that out in a minute. One of the biggest changes if we go to blog archive is the avatar size. So we can change our avatar size based on device type. So I can make it really big for desktop and then change to a different device, change to tablet, and change the size here for the avatar. We can also change the read more text. So right now the read more is just this. That's the default version. I could have the text be anything I want, like go here, for example, and then I can change it to a button. Now we have a go here button. And the primary secondary button just refers to the styling applied to the button. If we go to buttons, we have primary and secondary. So we apply styling globally for buttons using those options there. And we also have the option to refine our metadata a little more. We can add separators, or we can change the separator if we want to. We can also add estimated reading time. If I turn this on, we have an estimated reading time. This is not an extra plugin that I've added. This is the theme itself, calculating and applying that. And then if we go into a blog post, we have more options for what we can show. Post navigation, author biography, related posts, and sharing icons. The top ones here we had for the free version. These ones we can now add with the paid version. And we can have comments to be always shown or have a show hide mechanism depending on what the reader wants to do. So that's our booster, our blog post booster. Scroll to top booster allows you to add a scroll to top button. Under layout, scroll to top. We could put it on the right side or the left side. We can make it an icon or an image of your choosing. And what we're talking about is the button on the bottom right here, the little up arrow. The image behind it is reCAPTCHA, so you may or may not have that on your site, but the scroll to top is most commonly on the right side of the page, right side of the website. If I click it here, it scrolls you to the top. You can further refine how you want it to look, and you can hide it on mobile. You can change the styling using these options here. Next booster we have is white label. This is for the agency plan. It allows you to white label everything to do with this theme. If I click on settings right here, it takes us to the white labeling options. We can change it to our agency branding for the plugin and the theme. We can hide options from the dashboard, and we can hide license info. And from a client who's not too savvy, it makes it look like you created the theme. And maybe that's what you need for your agency. And then we have custom layouts. This is a new link added in the WordPress dashboard right here. If you click on custom layouts, this is where we can add a custom layout. And with the free version of Elementor, you can create header and footer templates, which are normally only for the paid version of Elementor. If I go into plugins really quick, I'm just going to open them in a new tab. You will see that I do not have Elementor Pro enabled. I have it on the website, but it's not enabled. Just Elementor regular is. And now if I go into the custom layouts, go to add new, I can call this custom header. And down at the bottom, I can choose header as the location to put it. You can use conditional logic to display this header based on post information, page information, archive, and user information, and have it show in very specific places or have it site-wide, whatever you want. I'm just going to remove this rule group, and now it's going to be a site-wide header. I'm going to click on Save Draft, and then I'm going to click on Edit with Elementor, and we can come in here and create a header in Elementor, and this will be our header template for the website. So we're getting the power of templates with the Elementor free version as long as we have the Neve theme. Another way the Neve Pro theme can save you money because it's replacing things that you normally pay somebody else for. And you can also have the layouts appear for the headers, footers, hooks, and on 4 pages. The hooks are an interesting feature because this allows you to add content in very specific places on the website. So if I choose hook, we have options for which hook to show it on, and there's a lot of options. You might wonder where on earth are all these hooks. You can kind of guess by the name of them, but it's hard to tell. So if you go out to the front end of the website and click on the Show Hooks link, it will show you on the page where the hooks are and what they're called. So this one up here is the before header wrapper hook. So whatever you create in this custom layout is going to appear at the very top here in that area. As you scroll through, you'll see other hooks. We didn't turn off the keep that one sticky. There's hooks down at the bottom here, and there's various hooks on the shop pages. If we go to the shop, there's other hooks. There's WooCommerce specific hooks. and we see them all on here. So we can choose the hook, create some kind of custom layout or custom something in Elementor, or just in the editor here, we can go back to the WordPress editor, and it could be just a block of text or whatever. It could be a Gutenberg block that you build in here and have that appear on the hook, and we can have that appear on specific pages using the custom logic, or just appear for specific users or user status or user role if we want to do that. Very flexible, very powerful. That is the custom layouts booster. So let's leave that without saving. Go back to our Neve Pro Boosters. Next up is the Elementor booster. This adds Elementor widgets. So if I go to Pages, Add New, go to Edit with Elementor, let's close all of the Elementor ones. Orbit Fox is a theme add-on as well. Add some Elementor widgets there. And these are the ones that come with Neve Pro. There's an improved flip card, review box, share buttons, typed headline where it types the headline out, team member widget, progress circle, banner, content switcher, and custom fields. And these are added to whatever version of Elementor you have, free or pro. The one I really like the most, they're all great, but the one I like the most is the content switcher, which allows you to create a switcher just like you see on pricing pages, just like this, where you can switch the section. So you build one section with this content, your annual plans, and you switch it, and you create another section with lifetime plans, and you associate that with the switchers so you can switch back and forth. You can also do that for before, after. You can do that instead of having a very simple tab or accordion setup. You can have a switcher, because the switcher only goes between two options. And so that is that widget. That's my favorite widget, but the other ones are great too. This one's just my favorite. So let's exit to dashboard, check out the next booster, go back into Neve Options, Neve Pro, the Lifter LMS booster. We have to install Lifter LMS to do that. That is a free learning management system plugin. So let's go to Add New. Let's look up Lifter LMS. To spell that properly, Lifter LMS. Let's install that. It's not my favorite learning management system. I use LearnDash on my own site, but it is still a learning management system that is free. LearnDash is a premium one. And then click on Activate. And then we can set up Lifter LMS here. I'm going to skip the setup because we just want to see what Neve Pro adds to it. We have to make sure that the booster is enabled. So we go to Neve Options, Neve Pro, scroll down. Lifter LMS was automatically turned on. And if you have any questions about any of these boosters, you just click on Learn More, and it takes you to the documentation page over at Theme-Isle, and it explains all these features as well. So that's a great resource to have. So the Lifter LMS options are in Customizer. So let's go back into Customizer. Let's publish what we have, and then let's refresh. And if I head into Layout, we have Lifter LMS options right down here. And under these options, we can change details about the course shop page, the memberships shop page, and change some colors. We're not going to build out a Lifter LMS course page in this tutorial, but when you do build one out using the Lifter LMS options over here, you will see that these are just as easily applied to the Lifter LMS pages as they are to any of the others, like the blog and the shop and things we've been doing throughout this tutorial. And the last booster we're working on is the WooCommerce booster, which is this one right up here. If we go back into Customizer, go back to the very top level, we have more options added under these options that we had here. Some of the most important ones include cart page improvements. So on the cart page, we can now change the layout of the cart page. So right now, the layout is as so. We have a list of products, and then the ordering is the blue, which is down below. We can have them side by side, like so. We can enable a fixed total box, which I believe means it will scroll down with you. If you have a long list of products, the total box will scroll down as you scroll down. We can also change the style from being light colored to darker color background. We can cross-sell products. If there's more products that we have available, we can cross-sell them here. We can enable payment icons, which is a trust factor that has been shown to boost trust on a website because people know immediately what they can pay with, so they're more likely to follow through with the checkout. And on the checkout page, we also have some great new options, including the fixed order box, again, if we want to have that turned on, and the option to show or hide an order note, show or hide the coupon area, and have labels as placeholders. I like the labels as placeholders the best because that saves a lot of space. So instead of having first name, last name above the form, it puts them right into the form as a label, and I like that a whole lot. We can also change the style like we did before. And if we want the order option back on the right-hand side, choose Enable Fixed Order Box or disable the Enable Fixed Order Box. And then the Place Order button goes back on the right. I like this way the best because it's more compact. Just a little less space, a little less screen real estate used on the checkout page, which I think is great. On the single product page, we have a lot more options as well. Let's go to a single product. Let's go to this one. If we have more than one image, we can specify our gallery layout if we want to right here. We can enable gallery's thumbnail slider if we want, so it slides through the thumbnails. We can enable or disable zoom effect. So if I hover, see it zooms in a little bit, just like you would see on Amazon or any sophisticated store online. That's pretty neat. Breadcrumbs option, turn that on or off. The Show Products tab on or off. You have the seamless add to cart, which means it doesn't reload the page. You stay right on that page and you can continue shopping, and it just is added to your cart. You can show recently viewed products on this page. You can enable product navigation. Under related products, you can choose which related products to be shown if you have related products turned on. And exclusive products we had in the free version as well. Let's go to product images. Nothing has changed in there. Product catalog, we now have products filtering and layout toggle. So the products filtering has a drop down here so we can sort based on certain criteria. And the layout is over here, so we can have a list or a grid. Those are great options to have. Product cart, we have the wish list option that we added, which enables the wish list that we saw earlier. We haven't actually used that. We added a wish list item. We haven't seen the wish list in action yet, so we'll check that out in a minute. In addition to the wish list, we also have different ways we can show the add to cart buttons on our products. We just click on one of these options and it changes to that option. This one is hover. So as we hover over something, we can see the add to cart. We can also have a quick view button, which allows us to quickly view the product right on the page here. Click on quick view, shows up in a pop-up. And those are both very slick. The category cards, you can change their display as well with similar options. We have some more card image options, card content options, and the ability to add sale tags quickly and easily. In fact, I've done an entire tutorial just on the WooCommerce booster for the Neve theme. I've linked to that in the card up above and the description down below. So if you're interested in WooCommerce and the Neve theme, check that out because it can really make your WooCommerce life a whole lot easier. And next up, check out this video right here where I do a deep dive into the WooCommerce booster and the Elementor booster for the Neve Pro theme. A lot of great stuff in there. Make sure you check that out. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And I also encourage you to check out our Facebook group if you need any help with WordPress or you want to provide some help. There's a lot of people in there and we're all helping each other get better at WordPress, so make sure you check that out. There's a link to that in the description down below. My name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab. Until next time, keep crushing it and I will see you in the next video.